twist and push it at the same time. Try to force the wheel to ride over. And it seems to be pretty darn clean at this point. So same thing here. Kind of push it down a little bit and then see if we can get it to ride over. So far I think I've got a winner here. Anyway, those are some of the tweaks I did to get this thing to function properly. And now that I've got this the way I want to, actually now that I have this working the way I want, I'm going to actually cut the gaps. Before I do that, I'm going to put a few more spots of solder here. I mean, get all the solder on the frog so it's firmly in place. And I'm going to gap it here. Okay, oops. Oh, close up. More close-ups. Okay. I'm going to gap it here. And I'm going to gap it here. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add 2 more PC ties in here. And what I like to do is, like, before and after a gap, I like to have 2 soldered PC ties in place. Just because I've run into problems where when I was cutting, it tends to heat the rail. I mean, you're supposed to cut it fast, but you're supposed to cut it fast so it doesn't heat up the rail, so it melts the solder. But, you know, just to be safe and to keep things engaged, I put 2 PC ties and solder it down. A little bit of paranoia on my part, but I'd rather not have to resolder and re-gauge and retweak and just be done with it. So after I gap the rails, I'm going to put a few more spots of solder where I've only soldered the PC ties on one side. Then I'm going to cut the foil. Alright, electrically isolate the rails. And then before putting solder absolutely everywhere on this thing, I'm going to do a preliminary installation on the location on my layout and run an engine through it and see how that goes. So maybe a short train. Run it back and forth, backing it up and going through just to see, really make sure before I get this thing in place that this is solid and performing the way I want it to. So let me get to work on soldering this thing some more. Okay, when you gap your rails, you want to use the thin cutting disc, not the heavy duty one. You want to cut as thin a gap as possible in your rail. So, and just do a quick cut, as quick as you can, because you don't want the rail to overheat. There. And all I'm doing is resting the moto tool on the track and just pivoting down real quick. And it makes it short and painless. Here we go. We're now gapped. Now, all I got to do now is cut the foil between the ties, and I'll be ready to do a test install. Now, for places that are difficult to get to, I use my little blade to cut through the foil. And for everywhere else, I got the small triangle file, and all I do is just file a gap. Like that.